Hello, I'm at the Oranmore rehearsal rooms today with Cathy Forde. Cathy is the author of next week's play, Sunday Lesson, and it's the last of our season of A Play Pint a Pint before we start doing the Corona Classic Cuts. Cathy, it's lovely to have you here.
It's lovely to be here.
And it's lovely to be doing your play. I've read the play and I know how good it is, but perhaps you could tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's a really simple play. It's just a really simple idea actually, and it's about a dad teaching his teenage son to drive basically. And the play is 10 scenes, and each scene is a driving lesson. And that's basically the sort of premise of the play, that's the structure of it, and that's what it's about. That's a simple idea.
What stimulated it?
Well, actually what stimulated it was quite a few people have said to me, is it based on personal experience? It is to a degree, and I'll come back to that, but the real kind of motivation to write it was, I was writing the first draft of my very first play, which had 9 characters in it. The first play I've ever written was becoming quite a kind of epic work to me. Apparently the first draft would be 3.5 hours long. It was just getting really complicated, and when I finished it I wanted to simplify the process of playwriting. I'm a bit of a Play Pint a Pint groupie, and I go every single week as a fan, and I've been watching the plays every week and how realised, you know, most of them are quite, they have to be quite simple by the nature of the space and the time allocated. They never tend to have more than 4 characters, and so I thought, I wonder if I could try and write something really simple as an exercise to try and pare down an idea and be very disciplined and structured. Sometimes I do that when I'm writing a fiction. I try and write something quite short after I've written something complicated, and it's almost like a kind of a mind cleanser. So that was really the motivation for the play. So it wasn't actually anything autobiographical. The real sort of there's no sort of real deep message in this play. It's very simple, but it's really about there comes a stage, I think, when you're a parent, when you realise your children don't really need you so much anymore. Yes. And it's not easy, and it's actually the person that loses the most is the parent. The child, I think at the end of Peter Pan there's a brilliant line which talks about the selfish, how children are selfish, and I think the selfishness isn't, it's not conscious. They just really are in their own world and their own thoughts and their own lives, and it's part of the growing up process, and they just drift away from you and you become redundant. Okay, maybe you give them money, and if there's a real crisis they'll come to you first, but on a day-to-day basis you actually become less and less part of their lives, and I'm at that stage now. And it's really sad, actually. Yes. You don't talk about it to your kids. Hope they don't watch this film, but they won't. But you're just a source of food and laundry, and even like nagging. I mean, I'm seeing it from a mother's perspective, but even when you nag about the little things, you know, you're not wearing a jacket, or your shoes are worn out. They don't need it anymore. No. They're self-sufficient, and this play is really about a parent trying to sort of tenaciously retain some of that kind of being needed, and restore to a degree some of the communication that obviously existed at one stage between the father and the son. So that's really that's the sort of serious element of the play, but it's almost subconscious. And in any of the things I've written, I just love to explore the developing relationship between children and their parents, and the relationship between a teenage child and his or her parent is really interesting.
Your first play, which you mentioned, Empty, was done by the National Theatre of Scotland and directed by Vicky Felde. Tell us a little bit about that experience. Well,
that was probably the most exciting thing that's ever happened in my entire life, being asked to write this play out of the blue. Vicky Featherstone just asked me if I would like to write a play, basically because she'd come across one of my novels and she liked the way I wrote teenage characters, and she just gave me a kind of carte blanche to go away and think about something that would appeal to, would maybe get young people coming to the theatre. That was the only kind of, you know, caveat.
Well, I saw it at the Tron, and you did get young people, that
it was exciting.
Wildly exciting audience.
It was great, but obviously you don't want just to attract, be pigeonholed as a writer for young people, and I wanted to write about something that everybody would identify with.
Yes.
So I wrote about a wild teenage party.
Yes.
That every teenager has been to, every adult has been to as well.
Yes.
And it's every parent's
And just when you thought that they'd done every kind of mayhem to the house that was conceivable, they did some more.
They did some more, yeah. And I've been to a few parties where houses have been trashed, and it's an interesting experience, the aftermath and the recriminations, and some parents take it better than others, but that was just a fantastic experience. And certainly I was watching, a couple of weeks ago, I was watching the podcast that Ian Pattison made about his play, and he was talking about how writing drama is like a drug, and the experience of working in theatre and working with different people and having a director and the input from actors, which I've never worked with actors before, and it's amazing how intelligent they are when they read a script and what they actually can add to a script and how they can enhance it. I've never had anybody apart from one editor ever actually tinkering with something I've written, and I'm quite happy to collaborate, so that's been a phenomenal experience.
Very interested. You said early on that you came really to play Pirate as a fan, and you come almost every week. I'm interested to know what a writer thinks as a regular member of the audience. What are the things, what are the ingredients that work, or perhaps don't work?
Well, I think actually the plays I like the most, I think, are the ones where, because character is the most important thing for me in anything I write and in anything I watch and anything I read. I'm more interested in the characters of any situation than the story itself, to a certain degree. My editor has a lot to say about that sometimes when my plots don't quite follow. But so I love the plays where I really care about the characters, and actually I like to be moved when I go to. I like to be moved to laugh, but actually I think I like to be moved to feel sadness and emotion as well. So they're the plays that I like the most. But what I like about the play Pie and Pint is the absolute diversity in it. As I was saying earlier, you walk in, you don't know what you're going to see, and it's just an incredible experience to have a play every single week at lunchtime. You know, I just think I tell everybody about it, and I'm so pleased, you know, that I've actually had a play on there. I think that's probably the highlight of my career so far.
Well, it's very nice when the highlight of your career is whatever you're doing at the time. Tell me about future highlights.
Future highlights. Well, I'm absolutely delighted that I've been recommissioned by the National Theatre of Scotland to write another play next year. So I've actually got 2 ideas in the pipeline for that. I think I'm going to try and write 2 plays and see which one they like. I've also started writing a novel for younger children, which is much younger children, a children's novel. And I'm just waiting to see whether somebody's interested in that. It's with my agent just now. And but I think definitely the one thing that is clear is I want to write more drama.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And is it particularly drama for theatre that you're interested in?
Probably. Although I would be quite interested, I think. I would write for television if somebody approached me. I mean, I'm really new to this world. It's come to me out the blue in a respect. But I really do enjoy the theatre experience. I like the rehearsal process, and I like the fact that your script is really analysed in a way that you know, they're quite, not vicious isn't the right word, but quite forensically, I think. Like as a director, Vicky Featherstone, for example, was phenomenal to work with, but she took no prisoners. You know, if a page or a scene didn't work, it was discussed, and then, you know, it was cut. But I'm happy to do that because it improves, you know, you're wanting the best performance and the best script at the end of the day that you can have.
Well, the forensic process is going on next door as we speak.
Yes.
And I would really urge you to come next week to see Sunday Lesson. It's a great replay. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Cathy.
David.